Well, that didn't take long. That's the coon we just called up and killed. I actually called up 3 on this stand in just a couple minutes. And everybody wants to know, how do you go about calling coons? Well, that's how you do it, but I'm assuming y'all want details. And that's what you don't see in a lot of these videos. I'm gonna give you those details as we hunt down through here, and I'm gonna show you that it works by calling in and killing coons. But right off the bat, there's 2 main things you need to know. One is you need to call areas that have a decent population of coons. Probably the #1 thing, calling coon habitat. Second thing is the timing of the year is a big factor. You can call coons any time of the year, but there are 2 times that are peak. One being right now, which is summertime. It is 4th of July weekend right now. June is about when I start calling coons. And what the reason for that is, that's when your coon pups, coon kittens, whatever you want to call them, that's when they get up big enough to follow that sow coon. They're out of the den. When they're in the den, your calling is not effective because they're holding tight. Right now they're out moving around. So that time of the year, June, all the way through until family bust up, just like coyotes, till your coons bust up in fall, winter, you have pretty good luck calling. So coon habitat, time of the year. The other time of the year that coon calling is really good is in the winter time when they start breeding and rutting. And the big difference is during the summertime, you're going to call in mostly sow coons. During the rut, you're going to call in mostly boar coons. So, and both times are extremely effective, and the action's usually quick. You just got to time it right. Like I said, you can call them other times of the year, but it's hit or miss then. One other question that people think you need sometimes is, do you have to locate den trees? If you're calling an area that has a good coon population, the answer is no. There's no need to locate. It's just like coyotes. If you're calling areas that have a low coyote population, you need to locate the coyotes. It ups your odds. If you've got a high population of coyotes, you got a good density, you can get by with blind calling. The same is true with coons. The area I'm calling right now is river bottom, creek bottom habitat, good coon habitat, plenty of coons. And so I'm just making stands. All these trees in here, I hadn't checked any of them for holes. Any number of them could be den trees, or maybe they're not, but there's enough coon in this creek bottom, river bottom system that I'm gonna call coons by just making stands. And if you time it right this time of year, you're gonna call coons on most stands. So those are a couple things. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next stand, kill another coon, and then I'll start going through some of the other stuff, like what sounds are most effective, stuff like that. So y'all stay tuned. Try not to bore you with too much talking. We'll go right back, kill some more coons, fill you in on some more tips on how to go about killing these things. Fox Pro X24. Well, I told y'all we would talk about the sounds on the very next stand, and that's what we're going to do, and this is a prime one to do it on because this coon come in here and put on a show. That sucker come flying in and jumped trying to bat that X24, and the sound that was playing was MFK Coon Supper. I shot through that coon on the first shot, shot all the way through him. The arrow's still sticking in the ground, the first arrow. Still sticking in the ground. You see should be able to see the hair and blood on that arrow. Here's the blood that was coming out of the coon. He liked the sound so much that he stayed, even shot all the way through. I ended up putting 2 more arrows in that coon. Anyway, the sound, MFK Coon Supper, and one other one are my 2 favorite sounds for this time of the year. The other one is MFK Screaming Coon Kitten. Those are my 2 top sounds, pretty much year round, but especially summer calling. And then there are a few more that I pair with those 2. I almost always lead with those when I make a stand though. Another good one is MFK Baby Coon Den and Fox Pro's Young Coon Distress. Those 4 sounds right there are really good ones. Some other ones that I'll use in the wintertime, MFK Big Coon Baby Coon Fight, Fox Pro's Coon Fight. There's a new sound coming out that I'll add to this called MFK Coon Crusher. That's a really good one. You'll hear me using some. Jabber Coon, and another one that I left out a while ago, I think is, and I may have mentioned it, is MFK Baby Coon Den. That's probably in my top 4 that I may have left out a while ago. But anyway, those are some sounds, some must-have coon sounds that if you'll come in, play a couple minutes of each, and that's what I do. I'll turn one on, I'll run it about 2 minutes, I'll swap right to another one, about 2 minutes, right to another one. Once I'm here about 8 minutes, that'll get me through, you know, usually about 4 of those sounds that I mentioned. If I hadn't called up a coon by then, I move on to another spot. And that's what we're going to do right now, move on to another spot, and we'll kill another coon. And I'll tell y'all about how far to move and just some more tips on coon calling if you're interested. So there it is, MFK X24, those coon sounds that I mentioned from MFK and Fox Pro, and those are the results. And you saw how aggressive these coons are to the sounds, so make sure you get your Fox Pro loaded up with them. Guarantee you they'll work. Let's go kill another one. Alright, I told y'all on the last stand we was going to move to the next stand, kill a coon, and then I'd give you some more tips, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We already got the coon killed, laying right here. So now for the next tip. So last stand we covered sounds. This time I'm going to tell you how far I go between stands and kind of how I go about getting started. So as soon as I pull up to a spot, an area that I know is holding coons, I park my truck, hop out, and I usually make that first stand inside of the truck. I'm probably only going, 40, 50 yards from that truck, setting up, running through those sounds that we talked about, a couple minutes each. And then once I'm there about 8 minutes, I shut it down. Usually I've already killed a coon by then, but after I'm there 7, 8 minutes, I'll shut it down, and I'm gonna move roughly 300 yards. Coons typically don't come to the call very far, so if you're moving 200 to 300 yards between coon stands, that's all you've got to do. You can make a lot of stands on small acreage for coons and kill a lot of coons because they just don't cover much ground coming to the call. So keep that in mind. Make your stands about every 300 yards. A lot of times I'm walking that. Just walking, making a stand, moving about roughly 300 yards, making another stand, and just keeping on. And a lot of times I'm calling coons on every stand, just like we've done today. 3 back-to-back stands, calling in coons, killing coons on every stand. So if y'all will keep the stuff that we've talked about in mind, you can kill a lot of coons, and you can do it on fairly small acreage and have a pile of fun doing it. I mean, that old broadhead put the hurt on that one. But again, move 300 yards. Keep in mind time of the year. Right now we're doing the summer calling when those coon kittens are up about weaning age. Then your wintertime rut time frame. Keep that in mind. Keep your stand distance in mind. Kill a lot of coons using those sounds we talked about. And I think we've called in more coons than I've killed. I can't remember how many. Called in, I think 3 on that first stand. But I'm using old longbow. I had to let a few of them get away. But I tell you what, I have a lot of fun shooting them with that thing. So right now, I'm going to do just what we were just talking about. I'm going to move about 300 yards. We're going to call up and kill another coon. I can almost guarantee it because they're just calling too good right now. And then I'm going to give y'all some more tips that'll up your odds when you go coon calling. Y'all stay tuned. another stand, another coon. I did have one stand before this one that I called a coon up on that I didn't get killed because a coon smelled me, and that's going to bring me to my next tip. I've actually got a couple things I thought of to tell y'all about that may help you out. One of them being talking about the wind. Do you need to play the wind when calling coons? I see people online say that you don't. Well, that's BS. Coons use their nose. They're not as critical as coats, but they do use their nose, and if they smell you, they'll turn and run the other way, just like the coon on the last stand did when it got downwind. So keep that in mind, and when you go in there to call, try to have the wind in your favor. You do not want it blowing in there towards where you think the coons are going to come from, because they'll start coming to the call, turn around and leave, or you may not even get them started. You may never even see the coon. They'll just smell you and won't come. So keep that in mind. Another thing I want to talk about is actually calling the coons and what kind of coons you're targeting. I should have mentioned that earlier when I was talking about time of the year, but a lot of times on these videos you'll see people calling den trees or coon calling, and you'll see them shooting coons that come out of a den tree and run the other way or just stick their head out of the hole. They're not actually coming to the call. And what I'm talking about is true coon calling, where the coon is coming out, and a lot of times in the den tree, some of the coons do run down the tree and run right to the call. Those are called coons, but you'll see a lot of those coons run the other way, and people may be able to kill them, but those coons are not coming to the call. And so I want you to keep that in mind. During that summertime calling, you are targeting coons just like this one. Every coon that I've called up and killed has been a sow coon, just like this one. This is your target coons. This is what's aggressive and coming to the call this time of the year. You see where I blazed it on that first shot and then had to shoot it out of the tree on the follow-up. But a lot of your other coons are not going to come to the call. Your younger coons, your boar coons, stuff like that. You'll call a few of them, but for the most part, those coons are not coming to the call. So if you're calling and you see a coon run the other way or something like that, just keep in mind that it's probably not the right kind of coon for the time of the year. Same thing with winter calling. When you're calling those boar coons during rut, you may see other coons running the other way. Those are probably sow coons, younger coons that are not aggressive to the call during the wintertime. Don't think anything about those coons that you see leaving the call. Those are simply not the target coons for the time of the year. And you see that a lot with den calling, where they target a den tree. There may be 2 or 3 coons in there. They may or may not be target coons, and they'll come out of the den. Some of them come to the call, some of them don't. So if you're truly coon calling, keep that in mind, and if you see coons leaving, just keep making stands. There's plenty of target coons out there for the time of the year that you're calling. So those are a couple tips I wanted to mention. The wind, what kind of coons that you're calling, why you see some coons leaving, and why you see some that are really aggressive to the call. So I'm gonna keep making stands. I don't know if y'all can tell it, it's already starting to rain. There's some kind of hurricane deal blowing in Texas, and we're getting some rain here in Arkansas off of that. So I really like to call in the rain, but if it gets too heavy, that'll shut me down. Either way, I'm gonna see if I can think anything else that'll help y'all out. I'm gonna keep making stands while I can, and whether I think of another tip or not, I guarantee you if we make stands, we're gonna keep calling coons. So stay tuned, it'll be fun. Either way. That old longbow, shooting them with it. Sometimes it just ain't that easy. That coon ain't much bigger than my hand, and sometimes it takes more than one shot, but that makes it fun. I enjoy it. Go make another stand. tracked this third coon. I don't know if y'all can see it right through there, sitting in that tree, and the other one's on up above it. You hear it growling at me, but that's the one I shot. I shot slam through that thing, and it's still alive. I guess I hit it a little bit far back. Probably shoot it out of the tree and get it. That's the one I shot right there. Can't believe that sucker's still alive. I'll have to try to get rigged up so I can shoot that thing, finish him off. Well, I tell you what, it's hard to beat that. I'm gonna take this time to go ahead and recap some stuff, recap what we've already talked about, maybe add a couple more tips that I left out. But it's been raining on and off. I just sat through a pretty good storm between the last two stands. Didn't know how it was going to turn out, but a lot of times them coons will move on these rainy days, and this stand called in 4 coons, shot 3 of the 4, killed these 2, and probably could have got the 3rd coon. I tracked it down there and found it in a tree, but I would have lost arrows trying to get it down. And so anyway, I'll take what I got, and like I said, we'll use this as an opportunity in case the rain moves in and shuts us down. I'll use this to go over what we've already talked about and cover a couple other things. So right off the bat, getting started coon calling, the very first thing you want is a population of coons. Like I mentioned, make sure you have, like in these old slough beds and stuff, that's just wrapped up coon tracks on top of coon tracks. If you're just seeing a few, you know, coon track here or there, that's probably not a high enough population. So that's the main thing. Have a good population of coon habitat. The other thing that I mentioned earlier, time of the year. 2 times of the year coon calling are great. Right now in the summertime, that basically June through about September is usually pretty good. That's when those little coons get up weaning age, and a lot of times you'll call in the whole family group like we did on this stand. So that summertime, June through September, is good. And then in the wintertime, when your coons are rutting, whenever that is in your area, you'll have to check that and find out. And then a couple other things was the sounds and how to go about playing the sounds. I mentioned that I really like 2 or 3. Y'all will see that in the video. And I just run through those a couple minutes, swap to another one. Once I've been on stand about 7 or 8 minutes, if I hadn't called in a coon, I move on to another spot. Then I covered how far I'm moving between stands. Approximately 300 yards. You can just walk these old slough beds, creek bottom, river bottom, wherever your coons are. Just anything that holds coons, farm ground. Cover about 300 yards, make another stand, you'll kill coons that way. I also mentioned the wind. That's a big deal. Any predator, no matter how small, including coons, they use their nose. You want to keep the wind in your favor, so when you set up, make sure the wind is not blowing towards where you think the coons are going to come from. If they smell you, they won't come, or they'll turn around and leave. A couple things that I left out. Call placement, where you set the call. I'm usually, especially, you know, hunting with this longbow, I'm setting the call really close to me, usually in that 8 to 10 yard range, and I'm shooting the coons anywhere from right there at my feet out there to 15, 20 yards, and I want them in that 15 and in range. You know, especially with this longbow, with a shotgun, 22, whatever you're hunting with, you know, a little bit longer range, you might set it a little bit farther away from you. And if you're calling den trees, you want to put the call on the back side of the tree away from the hole, so that that coon will have to come out of the hole, spin around the tree to see where the call's at. So those are some tips on call placement. Those of you that are wondering about the bow deal, I pretty much just shoot whatever at coons. I'm more critical with my deer stuff, but some of these arrows are not even the same length. I mean, if you're shooting traditional, you're supposed to know where your arrow is going just by looking. So I'll just grab any kind of arrow to shoot coons with. A lot of these are just oddball arrows that I had left over. I've already broke a couple. I picked up an extra one out of the truck earlier when it was raining. And then as far as broadheads, I like a big broadhead for the coons. Something that's big and durable, because you're shooting in these roots. That's a Zwicky, and that's something along those lines is what I like. They hold up, they're tough. You can shoot them into these roots and logs and trees. It's not going to mess them up. And as far as sharpening, I'll sharpen the heads before I go, and then I just keep shooting. When they're sharper, the coons bleed better, but you'll shoot through the coons. And one thing that I've learned, if you shoot them and don't shoot all the way through the coons, you'll see me a lot of times. I may not fully, full draw. And once I get these dull broadheads, it'll shoot into the coon, hit the ground on the other side. The arrow stays in the coon, and the coon can't get away from you then. If that arrow stays in him, that coon will usually stay right there. If you shoot all the way through him, like a while ago, I knew that I smoked that coon. I actually laid it open with the first shot. Blood everywhere. That coon comes right back up there, and I didn't know if I got in it good. So I shot it again, and I knew I smoked it that second shot, and it run 25, 30 yards and fell over. On a coon that you don't hit as well, that arrow not going all the way through the coon will help you get the coon. So they won't hardly get away from you. That way you can run them down or get another arrow in them while they're spinning around. So those are some tips as far as the bow arrow setup, as far as poundage and all that stuff. This is I think this is a 40 pound. Yeah, this is a 40 pound Centaur. I've shot them with everything from self bows to compounds. Nothing critical on that. As far as shotguns, anything like a number 6 lead on up into your, of course, TSS will just smoke them. And then, of course, 22s, whatever you want to hunt them with. But the main thing is the stuff that we covered during this hunt. One other tip that I left out that's worth mentioning right now, volume, how loud I'm calling. For coons, y'all can probably tell, I'm cranking that volume because I want them, if they're in a hole, if they're in a brush pile, in a den tree, or if they're out there a pretty good ways, I want them to hear me, so I'm cranking that volume. I'm usually running it around 28 to 32 on this X24, which is blasting it. And you see the coons will run and attack the call with it blasting that volume. So run it loud. Don't run it quiet, because if they don't hear you, they're not coming. And I don't care how loud you get with it, they'll stick their head right in that speaker and attack the call. And I don't think I've left anything out. If I did and you have questions, just comment on the video. I'll get on there and answer those questions for you. Appreciate y'all watching. I hope that helped you out with the coon calling. And like I said, if you have any questions, just reach out to me and I'll do what I can to get y'all fixed up. As far as the sounds, I told y'all what they were, the good ones, all that. We got more that are releasing. I've raised coons strictly to record, and you see how effective it is. But to get any of that stuff, the Fox Pro X24 that I'm using to call, or any of the other Fox Pro models, you can get them from MFK's website or the Fox Pro website. You get the MFK edition directly from mfkgamecalls.com, as well as the sounds. But that's about it. I'm gonna go make more stands, and y'all come with me.